And just as Brussels looks to an increasingly reluctant Washington to help end the war in Ukraine, disagreement on digital regulation is driving them apart. We spoke to the European Commissioner for Democracy, Justice, the Rule of Law and Consumer Protection, Michael McGrath, repeating in no uncertain terms EU commitment to standing foursquare, I quote him, behind Ukraine. We began by asking him how regulations can be enforced so, as he has maintained, they can enable rather than restrict companies' activities.
The approach within the European Union is to pursue a risk-based approach, and we want to foster innovation, we want to support competitiveness, but we also have to recognise that without some level of regulation there is significant risk of things going wrong. So it's important that we have some guardrails, and I think that can also provide legal certainty for businesses and for other actors, so that they know exactly what the rules are, that we are clear, consistent and transparent, and within those parameters we will be placing an emphasis now on supporting innovation, fostering competitiveness of the European economy.
There are concerns that regulation, when not balanced with the needs for business, for innovation, they can come at the expense of investment and innovation.
And that's why one of the main priorities of the new European Commission, which only came into office at the beginning of December last, is focused on improving the competitiveness of the European Union. In the last mandate, in the previous 5 years, there was a significant amount of legislation that did introduce additional regulation, and we are now focused on simplification, because the European Union is very anxious to improve its competitiveness, to improve its trade flows with Singapore, with Southeast Asia generally, and we want to be a trusted and a reliable trade and investment partner for this region.
Commissioner McGrath, the fact that Singapore has signed the agreements that it has done with the European Union suggests Singapore does genuinely value the EU as a reliable partner in trade and also security. But another partner that the EU might be more concerned with is the US right now. How much does the EU consider American anxieties when it charts out its regulation?
I think it's important that we are clear. The digital rule book that we have within the European Union, whether it be the AI Act or the Digital Services Act, applies to all companies in scope, whether they be European companies or American companies or Asian-owned companies. So it's not geographic specific. It doesn't discriminate against companies based on their place of origin. What we have brought forward is a set of rules which we think are fair and balanced, and which we will implement in an even-handed and a consistent manner. But more broadly, the EU-US relationship is of strategic importance for the globe. Two-way trade is of the order of €1.5 trillion per annum. We are each other's most important trade and investment partner. It is a strong relationship. It is one that will endure into the future, and on all of the major global challenges that we face, including bringing about a resolution of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the EU, the US and other stakeholders must act together.
The EU needs to act. It needs to act now. It has a peace plan that it is trying to push through in all the details. But the EU also needs to rearm and reindustrialize its defense industry. Russian spending last year on defense, on some accounts, by some measures, exceeded European spending as a whole. Now, time is of the essence. What's the EU doing on Ukraine beyond, for example, setting up a special tribunal, laying the legal foundations for making Russian leaders accountable?
Well, the EU has been the biggest supporter of Ukraine in financial terms, whether it be humanitarian, economic or military support, and that will continue because Ukraine is our neighbour. This war, which was imposed on the people of Ukraine, has ramifications far beyond the borders of Ukraine. It is part of the wider European family, and so we stand foursquare behind the people of Ukraine. And we will continue to have dialogue and engage with our US partners to bring about a just and a lasting peace in respect of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But it is important that we are clear as to what has happened here. There is an aggressor, that is Russia. Russia invaded Ukraine 3 years ago. It was an unjustified and an unprovoked invasion of an innocent people and affecting their territorial integrity. The European Union will absolutely continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. Yes, that does mean the European Union doing more in security and defence than we have done before. Spending by member states on security and defence has been steadily increasing, but I think you will see a turbocharge now over the period ahead, because we have to be in a position to support and defend our own continent, and that is why the European Union, the Commission, will be proposing through President von der Leyen at the European Council on Thursday of this week further measures in that regard, because we will support the people of Ukraine and its country to the very end. They are the innocent parties in this war, and nobody should forget that.